All right, Cancers, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for December 7th through the 13th. My name is Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology, different from mainstream astrology, which if you're new to the channel, be sure to check the description because your sign might be different. All right, Cancer, so this week we've got quite a few things taking place as it's been very transformative this late November, early December time period. We've got a new moon taking place in your 5th house of creative self-expression, which is quite nice. It could be maybe with some new hobbies, new interests, new things that you're pursuing in life that you're passionate about in some regard. That'll be on Friday with the new moon there. We do have Mercury shifting into your 6th house of routine, health, diet, and those kinds of things, and quite the aspects today. One in particular quite transformative has been Mars squaring up to Pluto and opposing up to Uranus, so this T-square. And essentially what we've had is coming into this week, Mars really being close to that square up to Pluto. So the key with this, and this is going to be the highlight of the week along with that new moon, is that there's been a lot of, I think, energy and drive for you to communicate, to maybe socialize, to learn, to read, to write, perhaps with Mars in this 3rd house of yours. But all that's been going through a lot of changes. And I think there's been a lot of changes too with your self-expression, with all these new beginnings that are taking place. That's also been, a big focal point for you to be open to change with, because things are just naturally changing there. And I think, usually with all Pluto transits, the more open we are to that, then it facilitates it and it becomes very constructive. Now, the other area of life, along with the self-expression and communication, is also the career stuff. Mars does rule your 10th house. So there is this change happening with either your career, your public image, anything regarding your legacy or big picture plans. So again, being open to change has been very important for you coming into this week, especially around Monday and Tuesday when it's still within its 1-degree orb. Now, as that continues, Mars starts to oppose up to Uranus midweek, going exact on Thursday. So it's all about balance with the communication or the mental, more daily stuff, which has been, I think, very driven for you, with the more expansive stuff. Uranus in your 9th house has been helping you guys free yourself up spiritually, maybe through philosophy, maybe through things like astrology, anything that opens your horizon, maybe even through travel for some of you. And there's this feeling of, oftentimes with this, of wanting to break free. So if you're wanting to break free and you're feeling like maybe doing some of that more adventurous stuff in life, whether it's philosophical or whatnot, keep it very grounded. Now, there's something to listen to with this. There's always lessons, there's always experiences, but because it's an opposition, just keep it grounded and see how you can implement that freedom into the more daily stuff, or whatever these, whether it's you in some sort of social environment, whether you've been putting in a lot of energy with, communication or, synergy and correspondence or work, whatever it might be, maybe even with that creativity, self-expression. Keep it nice and balanced. Keep it nice and grounded, because it's a very constructive time, and it's a good time to work at it in a disciplined, slow, and steady sort of way, so that you can have more freedom in your life and have these changes that are so important for you, that are so important in these particular times of life. So I think as a result of this, by the end of the week, you should be feeling quite, at least you'll have a new perspective in terms of your self-expression and creativity, maybe your interests, your hobbies, your passions, especially with the new moon in that 5th house going into next week. So with that, also your career, you could be finding that there's some insight there for you to, implement for more of that liberation and constructive change. So that's going to be the high point of the week. Now, because your ruler of the moon is coming up to a new moon, a lot of your energy levels usually are quite low during a new moon time period and this balsamic phase leading into it. So it's a good time to reflect. It's a good time to, not necessarily jump into action, although that does depend on our personal charts more so, but it is a lowering of energy time. So it's a good time to be, reflective, think about where you want to plant new seeds with these, interests or passions or whatever it is of that 5th house, and how to take it seriously and grounded, which has been Saturn in there as well. It's been a very Saturnian sort of energy lately. So that's going to be the emphasis, and a couple things I want to mention is Mercury will be squaring up to the North Node this early part of the week, so I think there's a lot to learn about life path. There's also some freedom to that self-expression, I think, this early part of the week available. There's a lot of positive energy, too, from that 5th house, into Uranus from the sun, particularly with these trines. So it's not all just very constructive and challenging and intense, as much as there's actually insight. There's actually focus. There's a focal point here. And I think it's naturally been this focus that you've had to maybe connect to those, hobbies or interests or whatever it might have been lately. So that's very supportive. There's also some healing taking place. The sun does square up to Chiron, so being open to that I think will be important. And Venus just trine up to Neptune. So it could be an easygoing time during this new moon, particularly for you, involving home and family things, and also maybe even friends and groups and community stuff, since Venus rules your 4th and your 11th house. Then going into next week, we do have the sun squaring up to Jupiter, which I'll talk more about next time. But I think maybe you're seeing a focal point. You're seeing the, more about what you're learning about your values in life. But do keep it very grounded because it's a square. But I think there could be, something to learn about that, which I'll cover more about next time. So the high point of the week is certainly this Mars T-square, as well as this new moon in your 5th house, all about change to your self-expression and career and big picture things this week. All right, Cancer. So hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a great week, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.